Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're specifically going to talk about the POHEC, the Path of Optimal Human Exploration by class, and the class we're going to look at today is the Cleric. This is part of a playlist. It should be watched in the order it lands in the playlist for full context. Let's go ahead. So how do we? In my humble opinion, there is a path to stop playing Dungeons and Dragons and start using Dungeons and Dragons to improve ourselves as human beings. And we could do that by running a gauntlet through every single Dungeons and Dragons player character, learning about a different critical aspect of humanity through each class. And the class we're going to look at today is Cleric. So Cleric is one of the core four, right? It's wizard, rogue, fighter, cleric, and it's really quite different. And Cleric is one of the most unusual, and frankly one of the most powerful classes that exists within Dungeons and Dragons. I don't actually think that the classes are equal. I think that some are far more important, some are far more powerful than others, and I really think Cleric is far more powerful and far more critical to Dungeons and Dragons than other classes. Cleric is really important and really powerful. Frankly, I would say it flat out. I think Cleric is the most important class in all of Dungeons and Dragons, without exception. Right? I'd even argue that if Cleric is ever removed from Dungeons and Dragons, there's a good question on whether you're still looking at Dungeons and Dragons. I think any of the core four are immovable. They cannot be removed from Dungeons and Dragons without bringing into the question on whether you are even still playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? So that's my humble opinion. Let's move forward here. So what can we use Cleric to, what critical aspect of our humanity can we use Cleric to explore? It's very clear. Theology, all right? What is our relationship as humans to God, right? Many different people have different opinions on this. I'm an evangelical Christian. I believe that God loves me. God is real. He loves you. He extends a way to escape death, right? All of that is 100% a distinct, unique view. You could run across the Dungeons and Dragons, someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons who's an atheist, right? And they would say, God is not real. When you die, there is nothing, right? And that's and they are projecting what their belief is onto God, saying he does not exist, right? So, and I'm projecting what I believe onto God, right? Like, I have faith that what I say is true. Atheists have faith that what they say is true as well, right? We all have faith in something, right? Atheists have faith in, actually, if you're a person of faith, you have faith in something. If you're an atheist, you literally have faith in nothing, which is interesting. But you still have faith, right? So yeah, very interesting. All right, so we talked through this, right? And we're determining where we land, right? But the regular Muggle humans out there, they have to go forward, right? And these questions about theology, right? They have to read some books, maybe talk to a priest, maybe talk to a reverend, maybe talk to a pastor, right? Talk to somebody who's evangelizing them. Maybe they're never evangelized to. Maybe they spend their life trying to make sure they're never evangelized, right? But the reality is we have a deeper, better path in Dungeons and Dragons. We have this ability to play a cleric. So the dungeon master sets down, right, the narrative canvas that you are going to use to create a picture, right? And so in the Dungeons and Dragons campaign where you play a cleric, you are specifically going to explore theology, right? But from a very unique perspective, right? First of all, atheism is completely rejected by Dungeons and Dragons. There is no atheism in Dungeons and Dragons. There is no question that there are gods in the sky. Every single Dungeons & Dragons core rulebook set has listed a pantheon. Some versions have listed entire books of pantheons, right? But every single version of Dungeons & Dragons wholeheartedly, thoroughly rejects all atheism, right? There are no Dungeons and Dragons. There's not a single DMG, PHB, MM version that does not have a pantheon. They all have a pantheon, right? And get this, there is no question that the power of the gods is real, right? So this automatically changes the exploration, right? So basically, the cleric played by the most shallow, most least experienced and least capable Dungeons and Dragons players, what they'll do is they're like, I have a cleric. The job of this cleric is to heal the adventurers when they get hit by foes, right? It's the most radically shallow, inexperienced, ridiculously unnuanced look at the cleric, right? But whether you're an atheist or a person of faith, once you go even 1 inch beyond the shallowest definition of a cleric, in the Dungeons and Dragons game, the exploration becomes incredibly real and incredibly impacting, right? You are a cleric. You walk into a village. There is a blind child there. You can remove that condition with a simple spell. You can radically transform the life of that child, giving them sight. Or you could say, my God recognizes your blindness as a gift, and I am specifically going to not extend healing to you. I'm not going to remove this condition to you because I acknowledge your blindness as a gift. These are deep philosophical questions about theology, right? What your player character believes about the God that they serve. The God they serve is quite literally giving every cleric the ability to heal wounds, right? And actually, every cleric in the game, right? If you continue to level up, you will literally be given the power over life itself. Resurrection exists specifically within the cleric spell path, right? And so again, once you reach that point, this exploration of theology becomes incredibly real. Who deserves to be brought back from death? Who deserves a second life? Resurrection is outrageously expensive, right? Does your player character cleric gift resurrection to the fallen village leader that you come across, or carefully save all the resources only to save those around them, their fellow adventurers, right? The question of who is worthy of extra life, who is worthy of life beyond death, becomes directly into you as a person. The exploration of theology, the exploration of morality, the exploration of piety, the exploration of dedication, the exploration of charity, right? All these things are integrally bound to the cleric. And you are going to look in incredible depth and with incredible nuance and with incredible philosophical intensity. You are going to look at your relationship as a human with God, right? And you can run whatever experiments you want. You can ask whatever questions you want. You can go further than any muggle, non-D&D playing person. And when you come out the other side of that exploration, you should have treasures of wisdom which fundamentally reshape you as a better human. That's my opinion. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.